And the next one is Dan Lupu. I'm looking for him. Yeah, here, over there. So Dan is a partner of Earlybird Venture Capital, and he will give his remarks right now, at the moment. So, do you have a mic?
Yes, I do have.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's working.
It's working.
Okay, sure. Hopefully this one is working. So, thanks for coming here. This is okay. This is a quick and dirty talk about what does it take to get funding from an international VC. As you can imagine, pretty complex and broad subject. To start with, there are no magical formulas. You will not leave from here with a plan about how to get funded. I assume most of you are startup founders or are interested in getting funded. You have a big idea and you would like to know how to proceed about getting the money. First of all, what's an international VC? I would say that this is a fund that has 100 million plus to invest and invests across a wide geography. So they are not country or region focused. They can give you not only money, they can also help you increase the profile of the business in order to help you with the customers and with your next funding round. In order for this to work, this is as much about what you can bring to the investor as much as what the investor can bring to you. So let's focus on if we take a stage approach and you look at seed, early growth and growth companies. Most probably, in order to get funded by an international VC, you need to be in the early stage or early growth stages. So you need to be past the seed stage. This is because you need to bring credibility, you need to bring the possibility of you making it to a big success. So you already need to have a product that is functioning, that is being used by customers. You might not have revenues, but you should have customers or users, at least, of your product. And you should have a pretty stable and well-rounded team already approaching the investor. So you already got some funding because you are past the seed stage, and now you are trying to raise money either to get real customers and to scale up a bit your revenue stream, or if your product is fully developed and you have the customers, you want to get real traction and you want to get to multiple customers. You want to develop a clear understanding of your funnel. Oops. Okay. Sorry. So let's come back to the VC side of the entire process, and this is how the entire thing works for the VCs. I'm saying this because you need to understand what your counterparty is looking for whenever you are approaching somebody. And this is a pretty rough example about what are the operating characteristics of a venture capital fund. So you have committed capital, and then you start spending money out of this. Costs for traveling, costs for talking to advisors, costs for attending conferences, and so on. So you lose part of the money from the outside. Then you make investments that you think are great, but turn out to be not so great, and you lose more money. Then the great investments that you thought you are making are only returning maybe your capital, or slightly more than that. So you are pretty much even by now. And then you have your outliers. Out of your entire portfolio, you have maybe 10-20% of your investments are really making money. When they are making money, you are taking a cut of the proceeds, because you need to get paid as well. And then you return capital to investors. And what investors expect is to get 2 to 3 times at least capital back from what they invested. You don't do that, you don't raise a new fund, you are not able to finance the next batch of companies. So this is what we are looking for, which basically means that
После няма да
every
има пауза,
investment
продължаваме с кой
has
следващия.
to be a start from the beginning. We know
Почва от
that
workshop, нали?
they are not gonna work out
Okay.
all of them, but when we invest, we need to believe that they all are going to be stars. So this is what you need to sell to investors whenever you approach somebody and ask for money. Again, coming back to the startup side of the relationship, what investors expect to see is basically, again, I'm focusing on a team which has to be fully rounded, so you need to cover all the aspects of the company operations. You need to have high caliber individuals, and then from there you need to start looking at what you need to offer in order to build the story of required for the investment. So whenever you go past seed stage, you need to be able to demonstrate
Join me for the
revenue
panel now?
potential. You need to
Are you part of the
demonstrate
panel?
real customer traction, and you do that usually because this is not fully understood. You do this by providing feedback from customers. So you get the investors to talk to your customers, understand the interaction with the company, understand
By the way,
what are the weak points,
Did they supply
what
with
are the strong
the
points
sticky
of
notes
the
and stuff?
companies.
Do you have them?
One important thing to consider
Hmm?
is not to waste too much time on
good.
projections and business plans.
Why are you laughing? If they say
this
they
should
do
not
it, they
be a
do it.
requirement, and this should not be
That's
something
how it goes in our life.
that will bring you the
True, yeah, absolutely.
decision to invest. Savvy investors already know that
To help
you
you?
are not there.
Sure.
Your projections have no basis. So
Good.
again, we are not
Yeah, sure.
looking.
Lovely.
We ask
Of
for
course.
for
Mate, we have to
projections
have-
in
we
order
have to sit and
to
talk with you,
validate
so-
the assumptions,
Are you in
to
Bulgaria?
make
I
sure
didn't know
that
you're
you
in
thought
Bulgaria. Really?
the things that you are selling to the investor, but we know that these are not gonna come. These are not commitments from the team.
I want to tell you, I mean, tonight we're going to be talking with Mike.
Looking at
About
what
the
you need
founders
to
games. So
deliver,
you just join our
basically
talk
you
if you
need
don't
to
mind.
make sure that you articulate very well what makes your
After dinner.
company an outstanding investment opportunity. Every one
Thank you.
of the
I'm gonna join
companies
you.
at the beginning needs to build a case showing that they are going to be an outstanding investment opportunity. So you need to be able to clearly articulate your value proposition. You need to show clear understanding of the competitive situation in your target market in the sector. And I'm not talking about your region. I'm talking about companies that
Kuga.
are potentially competitive to you on a global scale. And then you need to
Къде знам?
build your
Измислил си
business case. You need to
Ти
show
си
stickiness.
изпъстиш
You need to
направиш
show
така.
why people will continue to use your product or service. You need to show traction because no matter how good an idea seems at the beginning,
Обещава ми е,
savvy
ще
investors
направите workshop
understand
на
that
целия офис.
only validation is not through logical thinking, but through market adoption and
Аз ще карам
penetration.
някой от Варна от моите, защото тук съм малко
And
целестина
of course, you are still in the early stages, so you need to show that you are going to make it as a big company. So what do you need to make it there? You need to show growth, and you need to make sure that you identify exactly what are the triggers that will drive your growth. And these are lock-ins and size of opportunity, if you want. So you need to be able to understand the market, and you need to be able to explain with numbers what is the size of the market. Saying to somebody that the market is huge, it might be huge, but unless you show that you understand how huge is for you, this is not going to work well. And again, these are investors. that are investing other people's money need to return that money. So you need to show that you want and you are committed to execute an exit plan. It might be tough to part with your baby, but this is the rule of the game. So you need to think of an exit plan. You might not be able to articulate the date of your IPO, but you need to show that the size of the company that you are targeting will lead you to a potential IPO or to a strategic sale. Again, this is less about details. This is about showing investors that you are considering all these things, and that you are taking the thought process of making sure that your assumptions are fully thought of, and you have a way of validating those assumptions. I think that the important message would be, rather than that, instead of chasing investments and trying to model your company or your way of presenting the company to the investors, I think what's needed, and it's gonna work much better for you as a founder, is your drive to build a business, not target an immediate investment or a specific exit strategy. You need to think of them, but you cannot actually predict them or commit to any of this. So you need to make sure that you target a large market. Large usually means that this needs to be a market of more than $1 billion or euros, because you need to be realistic about your competitive position and how much of that market you are able to get. You need to have a strong lock-in due to your competitive position, because you need to make sure that whatever you grab, you are able to hold, and you are not going to be exposed to competitors, nimbler competitors coming in later and taking your market share away. And typically you need to show, whenever you make it to a big size, you need to show that you are profitable, so you need high margins. Luckily, most of the business models that investors are considering, and the ones that I'm seeing coming from the region, already target high margin offerings, either products or services based on technology products. The one message I want to re-emphasize is that you need to think big. Thinking about market, about sizes that are in the millions or tens of millions might seem ambitious when you are a startup, but you need to think about what would drive the decision making of the investor that will give you funding to realize your dream. And this is building a big company, because you need to be able to show that you are going to create a company that will generate a big exit for the investor. So you need to think big. Whenever you think of companies that will generate millions or tens of millions of dollars in revenue, you need to think that might not be a company that is financeable by an international VC. Not because there is anything wrong with that business, but because you will not offer a sizable investment opportunity to your investor. If you look at what's needed, you need to be able to show 100 million plus exit for an investor that invests out of a fund of 150 million dollars or euros, whatever. So you need to think big. I try to overemphasize this, because thinking big will drive the entire thinking process about what kind of markets you need to address, what kind of team you need to have in place in order to execute your strategy, and more importantly, will avoid losing your time and access to potential investors if you approach them too early or with an idea that doesn't fit their investment criteria. I think that's it.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Well,
I would like to ask you to pick a chair over there.
To pick a chair is a good one. Çok teşekkürler.
Okay.
Çok teşekkürler. Nasılsınız?
Thank you. No.
No.
My Turkish is a bit rusty.